of getting emotional pain, and you will deal with superficial stuff. And then you'll wonder why people don't take action. You have got to continue on. Now, when he is finished, if he gets tired of the process, he will ask me to leave. But I've never had that happen in my entire career where someone asked me to leave. And we get down in some real discussions. If we were one-on-one, it would be even more pointed. You're going to see it at the end of the day when I do that with everybody in this room. You're going to come face to face with that later on today. Part of this is a demonstration on how to do it. I can't demonstrate how to do it if I don't do it to you. Does that make sense? You okay with that? Say yes. All right, good, good. All right, so what happens if you don't fix it? Look at your sheet. What happens if you don't fix this problem? What's going to happen is you're going to have more of the same that you already got. And John, how do you feel about the fact that you have this issue? How does it make you feel? Here's the question. How does it make you feel to know that you're leaving $1,000 a month on the table?
Unhappy.
Okay. A little bit unhappy or a whole lot of unhappy?
A whole lot of unhappy.
A whole lot of unhappy. How does your wife feel about the fact you're leaving $1,000 on the table?
More unhappy.
Maybe we should have her in here. That's exactly where I'd go with it. How does she feel about that? John, let me ask you this. If she knew you could get another $1,000 a month and you chose not to do it, what would she say?
She'd be pretty mad.
Okay. Maybe I should tell her.
She knows.
You want me to tell her, or you want to tell her? You know why I can do that? Because I'm financially independent and don't have to make a sale. And I don't care what the response is going to be. Truth of the matter is I'm doing him a favor, because no one's ever asked him those kinds of questions in his life. No one's ever cared enough to be straight with him and honest with him to ask those questions. Now, I can make you a wealthy man. I can help you become wealthy if you want to take that step. But we got to deal with the truth, the reality. Let's don't bullshit each other here. Is this an issue? Is it enough of an issue you want to do something about? Or are we just having an intellectual discourse here? Because if we are, I need to leave. Because I got better things to do than have intellectual discourse with people. And that is a cut to the chase driven, and you will find every top performance salesperson believes that way. They may have a different style of doing it, but they all get there quick. Does that make sense to all you guys? Okay. And what is your level of commitment to fix these problems? So I don't need to pull up a chair with John and do that. I've just kind of shown you how to do that a little bit as we've gone through that process. What were you hoping I could do about it? Okay, let me go back over here to John again. Right.
Write faster.
Yeah. No, you can just buy the CDs and you don't have to worry about it. So what were you hoping? You came in here today. Mm-hmm. You knew this was an issue for you before today.
Sure.
And you came here today hoping that you would learn something or benefit somehow from doing it. So what were you hoping I could help you do that you haven't been able to figure out how to do on your own?
I guess it relates to changing my belief window and that so that I can change my behavior as well.
Okay. So you recognized that there was an issue and you were willing to take steps to try and do something about it?
Yes.
Okay, I can help you with that.
Okay.
No doubt about it. Because I've done that with hundreds of people that have the same issue. In fact, I had it myself, to be honest with you. So I've been there. You're not dealing with something I never dealt with before. I just wish I'd have dealt with it before I was 39.
Sure.
Because the truth of the matter is I didn't. Okay? Now, questions for you guys. Why does your customer buy what it is you sell? What problems do your products or services solve? encourage you to frame that in an emotional sense. What emotional pains do you, when people buy your product or service, what emotional pains do you alleviate? Now, obviously, closing more sales, shortening the sales cycle, getting more referrals, you know what? Those are all intellectual pains. They are issues, but they're intellectual pains. The real issue is increased self-esteem, feel better about what I'm doing. I'm proud of what I do. I get more respect in the industry. I get a greater appreciation from people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What problems do your products or services solve? What are their most important motivations for buying your product or service? Knowing the answers to those questions will help you formulate questions to ask to get the response. See, if you want the prospect to give you the right answer, you must ask them the right question. Don't expect them to mind read. How will their lives change after buying your product or service? Not only will John make more money, and he'll make a lot more than $12,000 a year, but what will happen is he will feel very good about himself and what he does. Because right now, he doesn't feel too good about the 12 grand. Guess what else will happen? His wife will love him a whole lot more than she does now. I mean, you got kids?
Yes.
You will be able to do a lot more for your kids, things you can't do now. You can take them on a $12,000 vacation next year that you couldn't do this year. You could fund your own retirement account that you tell everybody else they need to do when you make more money. You could be perceived as a leader in your, not only in your local organization, but in the industry. Could be recognized. So list 4 or 5 problems customers typically express to you, and then you want to go about framing questions that will help you get these folks to talk about those kinds of things. So I'm curious, we got just 3 or 4 minutes here before we take a break. I'm curious, somebody want to kind of shout out what problems or issues do your prospects have that your product or service solves for them? So let's hear from somebody that we hadn't heard from so far. Terrence, you want to play?
Sure.
Okay. What problems or issues do you solve when people become your customer and buy your products or services?
How would this help my company grow?
That's a problem that you solve for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. What else? Anything else?
Well, how do I also educate those within my company so that they can actually grow with it?
Okay. All right. Okay, good. So those are things you can help them do. You can help educate them. Just for the record, what do you do?
Just for the record, I'm an instructor.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you can help educate them, a more well-educated, informed employee, which hopefully that turns into somebody who is a more productive employee that would in fact make the company more money.
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. So you can, everybody's product or service has a net dollar effect to impacting on a positive level somebody's company. Okay? All right? Jay,
Yes.
what problems or issues do you solve when people become your customer?
Biggest one is peace of mind.
Okay?
I sell life
Peace of
insurance.
mind from what?
Well, sell life insurance, long-term care insurance, you know. The breadwinner dies, the remaining spouse can stay in the same house with the kids and they're all going to the same school.
Okay?
Other than losing the house. And long-term care, you know, about 50% of us will need it if we reach age 65, so.
So people can die with dignity without having to go into some facility where they're treated like a commodity.
Right, I've seen that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not pretty.
It's not pretty. So somebody having the means to be able to afford to stay in their own home and have full-time care because somebody can come in and take care of them, they can get personal care and have a dignity without having to be one of the masses in one of these institutions.
Absolutely.
Okay? Can you see how you can work that into a conversation, selling long-term care? Man, you can stick the knife in and turn it real hard and get people very emotionalized, which is exactly what you want to be doing. Because it's the truth, isn't it?
It is.
It is absolutely the truth.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about that. All right? All right. Biggest takeaway. Got a couple minutes here. Biggest takeaway or aha since we had lunch? Couple people. What's your biggest takeaway, Robert? Since we came back in here.
Getting to the root of the problem through asking good, educated questions to get the answers that you're looking for to come up with a cure.
Okay, good. And the key to that is asking the right questions. It's all you got. It's like an attorney, leading questions, right? Those aren't spontaneous. They're well rehearsed. All right. Okay, Jetty.
My biggest takeaway basically is using the handwritten agenda, although I've used an agenda whenever I would try and present motivated sellers, options as far as buying their property. Sometimes there would be a greater tendency, like you said, to get off track when we didn't have a written agenda. So that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. Terrific. That's a huge takeaway.